Hi there, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It actually is Tuesday today. Yesterday I said Tuesday. I guess I just didn't know what day it was. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, and you are here with Robin at In the Family Way Coaching, and we're here to read the Bible today. We are going through the entire Bible in 1 year, and we are using the Day by Day Kids Bible written by Karen Henley. This is a great Bible, if you have not been joining us so far this year, that gives us a big overview of the story of the Bible from Genesis all the way through Revelation. So while it doesn't have every single detail, it is a very complete picture of the overview of the big story. If you are just with us today, we have a calendar that we've been using to keep track of our daily commitment to read the Bible each day. And I have my calendar out, and I have marked out today's entry with my sticker to show that I have read the Bible today. So if you have your calendar, go ahead and get that out and get ready for your sticker, especially you, Diamond. I know you're ready to put that sticker on. If you do not already have a copy of a calendar to use for your daily commitment, I do have that calendar available for free for download on my site. And you can find that under the daily Read the Bible in 1 year heading on my website. And my site is www.inthefamilywaycoaching.com. And you will also find under that tab that I have a tab for February readings as well as January readings and afterthoughts videos. So if you miss a day and you're curious about checking out my website, you can always find those available on my site. I do also host a daily live event reading so that if you are interested, you can join me for a live reading. And it's not quite the same as this because this is not the recording of the live reading. This is my own recording that I am using for posting to the internet for YouTube and for the podcasting sites. So it's not quite the same. I don't record the daily reading. That's just a private daily event for reading together if you would like to read together with me. I do have that as a sign up on my website, and you will see that right on the front page if you head over to inthefamilywaycoaching.com. And it is not something that you have to pay to attend. It's just something that I'm hosting. I do have the option, if you feel led to support the event, that you can support the event by attending the live event with a paid registration, but it is not required. I also have the option for those who are listening via YouTube or on a podcast stream that if you are interested in supporting this event, I have a monthly membership available on my site under Part of the Family. So you would also head over to my site and look at the tab for Part of the Family, in parentheses, memberships, and that is where you can select from a set amount of $10 or $15 to support the event on a monthly recurring basis. You do not have to support it on a monthly recurring basis. You are free to cancel anytime. So that is just, again, if you feel led and would like to support this event. It is not necessary, though. I do want to make that clear. I put this out here for everybody to enjoy and participate with. But I just have that as an option for those who may feel led to support this event. So thank you for being here with me today. I really appreciate your audience, whether you have found me on my site and are watching from the event, or whether you are watching me via YouTube, or whether you are here on TikTok. Whether you are listening on any of your favorite podcasting sites, whether that be Spotify or Apple or YouTube Music or let's see, Podfriend, Overcast, Castbox. I've also added it to iHeartRadio. So, whatever your favorite podcasting app is, and you have found me, thank you for being here. If you have a podcasting app that you listen to that I am not currently on and you cannot find me there, please drop me a comment on my website. I have a box there on the daily reading page where you can send me a message. And it's the same as if you were to send me an email from your email. And then I will add that to whatever site that you would like to see this appear on for your favorite listening app. You can also follow it on Facebook. I have all the links there as well. So today we are reading in Numbers, and I wanted to talk a little bit about our reading that we are having right now. We are going through what is called the Old Testament, and that is the older section of the book. And it's telling us the story of how God chose his people through the line of Abraham to be his people and his special nation. So now that God has Moses and the family of Abraham, Jacob's family, Jacob had 12 sons, and so these are Jacob's 12 sons' descendants. After they'd been in Egypt for about 430 years, they had a lot of people. Just the men alone when they left Egypt was 600,000 people. And so this is the story of how God took them from Egypt and was bringing them to the land that he had promised to Abraham long ago to give to these people. As he collected the people and as he was setting them up to be different from the rest of the world, he gave them very specific rules as to how they were to worship him. And these are rules that they can seem very strict, and we don't have all of the rules listed in our day-by-day kids Bible, but they are there for anybody who is interested in reading them in your big Bible. This Bible does, however, show us a lot of the major events that occurred. So, for instance, yesterday we saw how Miriam and Aaron were getting grumpy with Moses and saying, why do you think you're special? God talks to all of us. And Moses said, I don't think I'm special. And we're going to continue to see that again in today's reading. And I wanted to bring up the fact that although we are not seeing all of the many rules that God was setting up, they are there, and that is why God is being very that is why God is showing his anger towards the people who are not wanting to follow the rules and who are disrespecting Moses as the chosen leader for the people. We are going to see again that the people are rising up against Moses, and they are putting him into a position of needing to essentially defend himself. And what they are really doing is they're rising up against God because Moses was acting on the authority of God. Moses did not say, hey, I'm going to go and rescue these people. It was God who told him, this is what you're going to do. And so he's doing the job that God gave him to do. This is not something that Moses set about and said, hey, I'm going to do this. This is going to be a project for me. So he was not setting himself up to be the leader of these people. And in fact, he asked God to send him people to help, essentially, because he said, this is too much burden for me. So God set up the 70 leaders, and he took some of the spirit that was upon Moses to be on the 70 leaders. And now they are helping to teach the people. And today we are going to see some of those same leaders coming up against Moses. And really what they're doing is they're coming against God. And we're going to see how God reacts to that. One of the things I wanted to point out is that God is to be respected more than anything else in the entire world. And that is what he is upset about, is the fact that the people are not showing respect for him. They are not respecting his decisions. They are not respecting his choices of who he places in authority. And therefore, they are not respecting God. And that was something that God really put on my heart today. And I like to just always incorporate what we're seeing as a whole in the story so that you can understand where we're coming from. Today, we have Jesus. Jesus came to fulfill the law. God gave the people many rules to follow in regards to how he was going to forgive their sins. He had what was called sin offerings. In order to forgive the people of their sins, they needed to do a lot of different things. They had to offer different types of offerings. There were different animals that needed to be brought to account for different types of sins. And so we can kind of forget that God was making these rules And we can only sometimes see God as gracious and loving, which He is. He is most definitely the most gracious and the most loving. And He sent us Jesus to atone, which means to forgive, to wash, to pay for all of our sins, all of the bad things that we think, all of the bad things that we do. And so, what we're seeing here in the Old Testament is before Jesus, when there were a lot of things that the people needed to do in order to remain in good standing, in order to be on God's good side. He needs his people to be clean inside, holy. Holy means to be set apart for him. And so, it may seem like God is very harsh as we see that there are people that he is killing, and he has every right to do so because he is making sure that the people who have seen his miraculous wonders are actually sticking with him and obeying him and being part of his called people. They're not rebelling. And so, what we are seeing every time you see God killing people, it is because they have deliberately chosen to go against God. And this is not okay. And so, while God is forgiving of our sins, and we can come to him because Jesus forgave us of our sins, we do not want to forget that God is not simply loving, but he is an authority over everything in the earth. He's in authority over you. He's in authority over me. He is an authority over your mom and dad. He is an authority over the president of the United States. He's authority over any king on this entire planet. Above everybody is God. And so when he lays down rules, they need to be respected, they need to be honored, they need to be obeyed. And we should not forget God's mightiness and the fact that he is God. He is our great I am. So that's what we're going to be seeing today. And I wanted to put that into perspective in terms of our reading so that we know where these things are coming from. It's not just that God gets angry and so he's just killing people right and left. He has a reason. And these are people who are very much in a disobedience to God. Now, throughout these more powerful and more, I can't think of the word, during these more powerful demonstrations of God's power, I have encouraged you that if you are hungry for more, that you head up the bigger Bible and that you check out the chapters from which these stories are taken from. And today I am moved to read to make a separate video of those chapters, reading the full Bible for those who are interested in hearing the in-depth details, because I know I was interested. These stories are great and they give us a great overview of what happened. But for those of us who are really hungry for the deeper story of the details, the nitty-gritty, it really does provide that deeper perspective for those of us who are there in our walk. For like more the adults. For the kids, like this is a kid's Bible, or for newer believers, then this may be exactly where you are. And there is nothing wrong with that. We are where we are. We are all on a different place in our walk with God. And that's why I wanted to start with our day by day kids Bible. But I also want to uh, help feed God's family who has a deeper hunger for him. And so I am feeling led to read the corresponding chapters out of the Big Bible in a second video. So I will be posting that for those who are interested in hearing more details. And I wanted to just let you know that I would be doing that and why. So not just to encourage you and to be doing it on myself, but to provide you with a way to do that easily. If it would be helpful to you to hear them read aloud to you, and to just to be with someone so that you're not, so maybe you don't feel alone, whatever the reason may be. God is leading me to feel that that is what I need to do. And so I'm going to do what God is calling me to do. And I'm honored to do it. I'm very thankful for God using me for this event. And I'm very honored to be here with you. And I'm very honored that you would be here to read it and to hear God's word in this daily event. So without any further talking about this event, let's actually do it. Today we are going to be reading from Numbers 16, 17, and 20. Numbers 16, 17, and 20. And we have just yesterday we covered the fact that God told the people that they would not be able to enter the promised land because they simply didn't put their faith in him. They didn't believe that God would take it for them and give it to them. And God had already told them, by the way, also that it would not be all at once. So God really has done his best to inform the people that of his plans. And God didn't have to do that, but he did that to reassure our human spirit, and he met their needs before they even had it. He told them ahead of time, I won't give it to you all at once because then the wild animals would move in and take over and it would be too much for you. He said, I'll give it to you bit by bit, and eventually there will be enough of you to take over the entire land. And so they were just overwhelmed by the big picture of uh, not being able to overcome these great numbers of people who were already living there. And so God has said, you don't want to go in and take it? Great. Go live in the desert. You will die there just as you thought you would. And so they're in the desert now. Number 16 is called a crack in the ground. Now a man named Korah got mad at Moses. Two of Korah's friends got mad at Moses, and they got about 250 other men mad at Moses too. All these men got together, and they went to see Moses and Aaron. They said, you've gone far enough. God is with each one of us. So why are you so special? Why do you think you can lead us? Moses put his face to the ground. Then he said to the men, tomorrow morning, God will show which man he chooses. Bring offering bowls with you. Put fire in them. God will choose the man who is special. It's you who have gone far enough, and you're not going against Aaron and me. You're going against God. So the next morning, Korah and all his followers came together, and they went to the front of the worship tent. Then God's greatness came down in front of them. God told Moses, move away from these other men. I'm going to get rid of them. Moses and Aaron bowed with their faces to the ground. God, they said, don't be angry with all of the people. Only one man has sinned. So God said, tell people to move away from Korah's tent. Tell them to move away from the tents of his two friends. So Moses told them, and the people moved away. Moses said, now you'll know God has sent me. You'll know that what I've done hasn't been my idea. Let's say these men die like most men do. Then God has not sent me. But what if God does something new? What if the ground opens up and swallows them? Then you'll know these men didn't think God was important. Right away, a big crack opened in the ground. Korah and his two friends fell in. Their tents and families fell in. Everything they owned fell in. Then the ground closed up again. All God's people saw it. They began running around and screaming. Then fire came from God. It burned up the 250 men who had been mad at Moses. But the next day, all the people fussed at Moses. You killed God's people, they said. They got together and they went to the worship tent. And then all of a sudden, the cloud came down. It covered the worship tent. God's greatness was there. Moses and Aaron ran to the front of the worship tent. God said, move away from these people. I'm going to get rid of them. So Moses and Aaron bowed with their faces to the ground. Moses told Aaron, "Hurry, take your offering bowl. Put fire from the altar in it. Go to the people and try to make up for what they've done. God is angry. He has sent a bad sickness." So Aaron did what Moses told him to do. The sickness had started. Many people were dying. But Aaron stood between the dead people and the living people. Then the sickness stopped. But 14,700 people had already died. Numbers 17, the walking stick that grew flowers. God told Moses, "Get 12 walking sticks from the people. Get one from the leader of each family group. Write each man's name on his walking stick. Get one from Aaron and write his name on it. Put the sticks in the worship tent. I will choose one man. His walking stick will get flowers on it. Then the people will stop being mad at you." So Moses got the 12 walking sticks and he put them in front of the ark box. Moses went back into the worship tent the next day. He looked at the walking sticks. Aaron's stick had flowers growing on it. Then almonds had grown on it. Moses brought the walking sticks back out. He showed the people. Then he gave the leaders back their own walking sticks. Numbers 20, finding more water. God's people traveled to the Zin desert. Miriam died there. There wasn't any water in the Zin desert, and the people got together against Moses again. They said, "We should have died when the others died. Why did you bring us out here? There's no wheat here. There's not even water here. There's no figs or grapes. We've not even water to drink." Moses and Aaron went to the worship tent. They bowed with their faces to the ground. God's greatness came. God told Moses, "Get your walking stick. You and Aaron call all the people together. Talk to the rock. The water will flow out of it. Then the people can drink. Their cows and sheep can drink too." So Moses got the walking stick. He and Aaron called all the people together in front of the rock. Moses said, "Listen, do we have to get water from this rock for you?" Then Moses hit the rock 2 times with the walking stick, and water flowed out. The people and their sheep and their cows drank. But God had said just to talk to the rock. He told Moses and Aaron, "You did not trust me. You did not treat me like the most important one. So you won't get to lead these people into Canaan." Then Moses sent a message to the king of Edom. "You know we are having hard times, and the people of Egypt were mean to us. But we cried out to God, and he heard us, and he sent an angel and took us out of Egypt. Now we are on a long trip, and we are at the edge of your land. We would like to go through your land. We won't drink water from your wells. We will just go on the road. We won't turn right or left. We will just pass through your land on our way." The king of Edom sent an answer. "We will not let you pass through our land. Don't even try, or we will fight." Moses sent another message. "We'll just stay on the main road. We won't drink any of your water. We won't let our animals drink your water. We just want to pass through. We don't want anything else." The king of Edom sent another answer. "We will not let you pass through." Then the army of Edom came out to fight, and the army was big and strong. So God's people turned back, and they traveled to Hor Mountain. God told Moses, "Here's where Aaron will die. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar up the mountain. Give Aaron special clothes to Eleazar. Eleazar will take Aaron's place. So Moses did what God said, and then Aaron died on the top of the mountain. All of the people cried. Moses and Eleazar came back down, and all of the people cried because Aaron had died. And that is the end of our reading today. So there was a lot of disrespect to God in today's reading. And even Moses lost his temper and he hit the rock when God told him to only talk to it. And Moses was not above consequences. He may have been doing God's work, but that didn't mean that if he sinned, he was going to have no consequence. He and Aaron hit the rock 2 times when God told him to only talk to the rock. So it might not seem like that was a big deal, but as we talked about before we started today's reading, when God gives us instructions, he wants us to do exactly as he told us to do. He does not want us to change it and do things a different way. God is to be obeyed. God is to be respected. And it's just amazing that despite all of the many wondrous things and the number of times that people have come against Moses, that the people are still difficult and don't want to respect that what God has done is place Moses in a place of leadership. And they are essentially coveting. They are essentially breaking the commandment to want what someone else has. They want to be in the position that Moses is in. But they don't understand the role that Moses is in. They just see it as Moses is a high leader and that he is above them. And so they want this status for themselves. They're not actually looking to teach God's people, because if they were, their heart would not be for themselves. Moses had a heart for God, and he had a heart for other people. And even when Korah was coming up against God, and God said, "Stand back, I'm going to kill Korah." Even then, Moses' heart was asking for God's punishment to not extend beyond Korah, who started the whole problem. But God had other plans. He took Korah's family and put them into the crack in the ground. It says in the big Bible that the earth swallowed them up. And then he closed the ground. Only he was affected. But then God's fire came down and killed the rest of the 250 people. So despite the fact that Moses' heart was asking for them to be spared, God knew that they were not honoring of him and he wasn't going to have it. And not that we should be afraid that God is going to throw us down into a pit. That's not the point, is that God is going to consume us with fire. It's to show that God is worthy of the respect and and the obedience that he requests of us. And that even if we uh, don't understand, we need to make sure that we are honoring God, because his ways are higher than our ways and he is perfect. We are not. Not even Moses. Moses wasn't perfect. So I think that is about all I wanted to cover in our amazing readings today. Aaron did not get to see the people going into the land, so that was part of his punishment. God said that neither he nor Moses would now be able to take the people into the land. And so when those 40 years are up, we will see that Moses does not enter the promised land. He is alive. There's a little bit of a spoiler alert there, but he will not disobey God and try to enter the promised land. He accepts his consequence. And so we will see that maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but we will see that in the coming a week, potentially. So there we go. That is it for today. We're almost at the 30-minute mark. So I always I'm trying to keep these at the 30 or below. My goal was originally like 15 minutes, but it has stretched into more because I do feel led to share these things. so that we have deeper understanding and so that nobody is confused or just becomes thoughtful of the thought that God is just mean, because he is not. He is, however, aware of our hearts, and he is with us. He knows how we actually feel about things. We may be able to hide it from people. We may be able to hide how we really feel about something from our mom or our dad or our brother or our sister or our friends, but we cannot hide who we really are from God. So I want to encourage you to be honest and to be with honoring toward God, not just with your mouth, but with your heart as well. As I will be also working to do the same thing, and remember that God is to be respected and obeyed above all else. And I don't have any personal application at this moment. I do try to incorporate that and encouragement, but I don't want to take too long, and I haven't actually thought of that. It's not always about me and my personal application in my daily life. It's about making sure to honor God and to make sure that those things are mentioned. So that's our food for thought today, some of our daily bread. Thank you so much for being here today, whether you are listening via TikTok or watching via YouTube, whether you have found me on your favorite podcasting site. However, you are here today, thank you so much. I'm so glad that God led you here today. If you are watching on a way that allows you to click a like, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube or even on a podcasting site, please click that like. And if you have not already, then please subscribe to my channel, and then you will get notifications, unless it's YouTube. I have also recently loaded this up to YouTube Music, so it's just available on audio on YouTube Music. And I think you may get subscription notifications there. I did mark it made for kids, so I'm really not quite sure if anybody subscribes to the YouTube Music channel, if they would please let me know. I don't have any views yet from it as a podcast. I did just do this yesterday. But if anybody is watching via YouTube Music and you subscribe as a follower to my YouTube podcast channel on YouTube Music, I would love to know if you actually get notifications. I learn about things through you guys. If you tell me you're having a problem doing something, like yesterday when Maria tried to help me get her set up with Spotify, if God had not sent her, I would not have known that my RSS feed was not enabled, and now she'll be able to get these notifications. So that's how I learn, is by you guys trying to do something. So if you try to do something like leave a comment somewhere and it doesn't work, or if you're wondering why you're not getting notifications for something and you think you're supposed to, please reach out to me on my site. If you're unable to make a comment somewhere, by all means, leave a comment if you can to tell me you're having difficulty. But if you're not able to, always head over to my site at inthefamilywaycoaching.com and use my contact me uh, section on the page and to leave me a message. And I will try to figure that out, because I'm not on every single podcasting site trying to listen to myself. So I don't know everything. I'm just doing my best to get them uploaded. So thank you very much for your help on that. And I hope everybody has an awesome rest of their day. See you everybody tomorrow.